Welcome everyone to another video. My name is Hagop, aka Hags, and today I'm going to do a recap and look back at how my 2024 year went with my property investing journey. There was definitely a lot of ups and definitely a lot of downs. So stay tuned to the end of the video where I may disclose a new potential purchase that I am making. Let's start off straight away with my bungalow flip project. I know that was completed last year, but the early of this year is when the property finally sold and completed. The issue with this property was when I listed it on the market sort of near the end of last year, the interest rates hiked to almost 6%. And what happens when we hit those sort of numbers? Everyone just sits on their hands and no one goes out to buy. So I knew I was in a spot of bother. But thankfully, I was in a position to be able to hold on to the property. We definitely had enough viewings, but everyone became so much more pickier, and unfortunately people just couldn't offer what I really wanted at the end of the day. So I ended up holding on to that one for a little longer, and finally a cash buyer actually came in and swooped that up straight away, and it only took about a month to do because it was a cash buyer. So that was really lucky in the end, because after seeing that interest hike from going at about 1.52% it just hiked straight up to 6%. Seeing those sort of numbers, listing a house when it hits those sort of numbers at 6%, you think, who on earth is going to buy my house? So it was more of a waiting game. I had to wait an extra 2 months or so to find the right buyer. I even had to switch agents a few times as well, just because I didn't feel I was getting the full service of going out there to find the right buyer, even though I know it was a tough time. But thankfully we got that one underway and we started off the year with a bang. So moving on to my next property, which is this one right behind me. This was a full interior refurb. I mean, every single wall was stripped back. We moved the bathroom from upstairs to downstairs. You can see all the videos in front of me of the befores and afters. This took about 3 months or so to do. And luckily we started this pretty much instantly straight after that one sold. So it's always good to have a property on the pipeline ready to start as soon as one sells, or you can build up and have 2 in one go, 3 in one go. That's the ideal situation, but it's definitely easier said than done. But once this one was completed, listed it for about 2 weeks or so, had it sold, and we ended up finding a new buyer after, who actually offered more than the first buyer. The reason being is because the first lender just downvalued the house like didn't make any sense, and they also asked for a structure survey done on the property. So I was thinking, so you haven't got a structure survey yet, but you're downvaluing the house. So I couldn't really justify their reasoning for that. So in the end, me and the buyer actually agreed to just scrap this deal and find a new buyer. Listed it for a week after and got a higher offer almost instantly, because where this property is located, I've owned another one in this area before and it sells quick. And the property did sell. So I cannot complain again about this one. So even though it was somewhat of a rocky journey, once again, every single one will have something that pops up. It doesn't matter how simple the refurb is to do. It doesn't matter how many times you've done this, always something will come up. It's just a matter of finding a solution to that problem because there always is a solution. So moving on to my rental property. I've had this one for coming up to 3 years now, and it's done very well in terms of the appreciation value. Can't complain about that at all throughout the years. I bought that during a time where there wasn't many people looking for properties. During a time where everyone was locked indoors and no one could leave. That's the best way of putting it. So by the time I viewed the property and then put an offer forward, you could give or take about 3 years ago now. And the good thing about that one is I bought that at the guide price, and you're thinking, well, you didn't really get much of a deal, did you? Well, it was an auction property. So the guide price was very low, and I offered the guide price and said, let's wrap this up. So I got very lucky with that one, held on to it ever since, rented it out, had some good and bad experiences with some tenants. So I'm trying to figure out, what do I do in this case? Do I rent the property out again, or do I just sell the property? It's one of those two. So let me know down below what you think of the market. I may do a video on that for 2025, where the market will go. So we will see. Last but not least, I am in the process of purchasing a new property. I'm doing the paperwork currently, and I can't wait for this one to start. Hopefully everything's okay with it. You never know what pops up along the way. So I may not even get it, but fingers crossed, everything goes smoothly. And hopefully I'll get another one in that year as well, because I've started this one so early. So there we have it. What do I think of my journey in 2024? I think it was very rocky. I think there was a lot of ups and downs. Learned a lot as I went along. Each property is different. You learn something new each time. So I cannot complain about that. And you just gain more knowledge the more you do these things. So there we have it. I've been Hagop, aka Hags. Don't forget the name. And I'll catch you in the next video.